Welcome to the third session of The Power of the Mind. I am Lady Winnet Peters, the founder and CEO of the Extraordinary Achievers. Our aim is to empower, to motivate, to encourage, and to inspire others. I'd like to acknowledge our Facebook and YouTube audience. Please do click like, comment, and share. Click like, comment, and share. Good evening. This program is brought to you on behalf of DB's 8 Step Up project, sponsored by the HM government in partnership with the National Lottery Community Fund.
Welcome to the Extraordinary Achievers, founded in 2014 by Chief Lady Winnet Peters, with a dedication and aim to inspire, motivate and encourage others. Lady Winnet holds chieftain titles, over 35 international humanitarian awards, as well as being an international speaker and entrepreneur. Join us as we learn to move towards achieving the extraordinary for your life.
There is a quotation by Ken Blanchard that says, "The key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority." Let's just digest that one. Joining us today is Norma Ellis, a makeup artist, a trained esthetician for over 40 years, a beauty therapist, assessor, and a teacher, and soon to be a published author. Today, Norma joins us as a motivational podcaster. Norma Ellis, I'd like to welcome you to the Extraordinary Achievers.
Thank you so much, Winnet. I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me this evening.
It is lovely to have you on the Extraordinary Achievers show today. So, Norma, you have a podcast that many people will testify to how your podcasts have changed their lives with their thought process, the encouragement that you bring to their lives. What made you start this podcast?
Well, I am now 66 and I needed to go down a new road, a new journey, and to leave something behind extraordinary. And I have I've always had this within me from the time I was a child. I've always served people. I love people. And I've always been an inspiration to people through my own personal journey and experiences in life. And I tried to start many community engagement projects some years ago, and found it very challenging with the community. Sometimes with community, they don't always like you to tell them what to do or to give them programs. They never turn up. And I found it very difficult because I wanted to support and serve youth and their parents, because I find that when you support the youths by themselves and you don't support the parents and they're not on the same page, then they go back into the same environment that they're in. And so I wanted to start a lot of community engagement programs, and I tried in many ways to start up different projects. And when that wasn't working, I went out and I skilled up myself around different engagement projects, working as a volunteer to start off with. And then I wanted to have a radio program to a talk show, a little bit like this, where people could call in with their problems and I could help to support them that way. And I knocked on many doors of many radio stations and they were not letting me in. And then as technology started developing over the years, podcasting became available. And a friend of mine said to me, why don't you start the podcast? And so, of course, that's where Moments with Norma started. And it's been a great journey for me with Moments with Norma, because one of the things that it allows is for people to get to know me, to understand me, to know my journey, and to listen to some of my own personal experience that's helped me to become a better version of myself and to help me to grow into my greatness. So that's how Moments with Norma started. And of course, it's also part of the journey. I'm hoping that by the end of January, I will have my book on the shelf.
Fantastic. And hence the reason why I asked you to come on our show, because you're so influential. I love your quotations that you put up every day. They're very inspiring. In your experience, do you think we're influenced by the movies or TV series that we watch?
Oh God, absolutely. You know, life is all about the things that is around us. And if we even look today at the media with the coronavirus, look how much that has caused enough fear in people, and it's influenced people, and it's taken away people's life. And not everybody has the courage and has the will to be strong. There are people who, function on the edge of life and who function in a negative way. So with all of this, yes, films, everything that we watch, we see, it goes into our human consciousness, and it does influence us very, very much. And always with movies or with TV shows, there's always some kind of truth in it, because it's taking it from somebody's own experience that they may have experienced life. And even though they may just be writing it as just a TV program or just a movie, some aspect of it is true. And if you look back at many movies over the years and TV series, I know when we used to watch Star Wars, for instance, that has been one of my greatest influence, that has allowed me to become more conscious of my inner power and my inner self. And for me, I never used to understand what Star Wars was about when I saw, them watching it. I was thinking, oh, what a load of rubbish. Until one night, when my consciousness was ready for that experience, I really started realizing what it was about. So yes, everything that we take in and we see in our environment through TV, even with these young children now playing on their PlayStation, we could see over the years as PlayStation became very much part of young people's life to babysit them. It has influenced them in a big way because they sit and they play games where they're shooting, they're killing, and they've got to get rid of the enemy. And all of these things do influence us. And when you also have a very young mind that hasn't really developed to its maturity, this can be even far more influence on the young people's mind. And also for some adults who really, they're adults who still are living in that childlike place as well, that will also influence them, and they will believe, oh, that is true, when it's not true. But in some instance, there are truth in a lot of the things that are put out on our programs. And also TV is a way of creating subliminal programming. If you watch a lot of the adverts, you can see young children, when babies are watching, what advert are they attracted to? And you can see they light up when certain advert comes on, and then as soon as the advert is gone, they're not interested. So we can see that we've always known that there was subliminal programming going on when we are watching television.
Very, very, very true. And the games, as you mentioned, and in certain times, yes, they're advancing the mind, and the mind is learning quicker and faster. But just as you rightly pointed out, some of it is just too violent. And then how do you differentiate from it being just a game to when you're out there, you're now feeling like Superman, back in our days with Wonder Woman and Superman. And
absolutely.
and that's who we idolize at that moment in time.
Absolutely. And you know,
So,
parents don't necessarily sit and watch these programs with their children and to let them know what this is about. And that is really something that, as a parent, we are responsible for the
mhm,
information that our children are taking in. And I know when I had a friend, especially the Swiss people, when they're watching TV with their children, there's always an adult that watches it and explains it and give the
okay,
children the right explanation. And I think a lot of us in our society, we don't have time for that because a lot of us is working 2 or 3 jobs. We don't have time to babysit. We get stressed. We're upset ourselves. And, you know, we're too homed in on our own emotions rather than realizing that a child is developing. We're at a place where we understand certain emotions and we know that when we can change or switch them on and off, that child is developing. And it is important that as parents, we know what our children is watching. And if you're allowing your child to watch certain things that really they're not ready for, then it is your responsibility to be there to actually explain to them and you know, the right or the wrong, or have a discussion and see where your kids are in
totally agree.
understanding what they're watching.
Yeah,
Definitely.
totally agree with you. And then moving on to music, would you say that music influences and changes our moods?
Absolutely. Listen, music is the highest vibration of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to change your mood, when you want to be in a happy place, or if you're in a sad place, or if you want to be in a quiet, meditative place, music is the thing that will help you to create the experience that you wish to experience. So, you know, if you know, even today, I knew I was coming onto this program. And so, of course, I had my music on and I was, you know, dancing around and raising my energy and raising my vibration so that I can be, I can give the best of myself. I can, you know, sort of make sure that the things that I do or say or express, they are something that's going to transform people's lives. So music is definitely important. And also when you're playing music and you have the words that is going into your mind, into your consciousness while your vibration are being raised, funnily enough, that makes a great impact also on you. So, like for instance, you've just been in a relationship and you've just broken up, and you're listening to a song. Oh, I miss you so much. Oh, poor me. And this lament of that music is words is pumping into you, and you're, you know, sort of a feeling the words. Remembering that words are very much powerful. They are what creates our total experience. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you are listening to music and you put a certain music on, it is definitely 100% it's the second highest vibrational consciousness for humankind.
Absolutely. I just want to add, thank you for that. Just want to add that I remember back in the day when I was growing up in our household, on a Sunday, there'd always be some gospel music playing,
Absolutely.
and you're just
Yes.
kind of glorifying God and you're setting the
Praising God and yes,
yeah, setting
meeting
the
yourself at that
atmosphere.
point. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. And you can look. When I was teaching a few weeks ago, we had the same discussion in class about music
Mm-hmm.
being very influenced.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the topics that came up for me was 50 cents. And I said to my students that I think for me, when 50 Cent wrote this music, Get Rich and Die Trying, it absolutely got a lot of young people into this drug culture, in the gun culture. And
Yeah.
yes, he made it out of it, but a lot of these young kids don't understand and they've gone into it and they have not made it out of it because he said, what? Get rich and die trying. And
That's
that's
right.
exactly what they do now.
Exactly. Very, very true. Norma, in just 1 minute, if you can summarize for us, As it is said that books are the roots of all knowledge, would you say that was true? And do you think also books shape our thinking?
Absolutely. We must remember that books is the absent teacher, and that's what books are. And it has the truth, and it also has the untruth in it. And if we look at the greatest book that is written, is the Bible. And hasn't that influenced millions of people's life? Definitely. Books, not everybody likes to read books, and they always say if you want to hide something from someone, put it in a book. But book is an absent teacher, and it's also the words, it's the written words that has the power. And if you're reading something at that particular moment, a story or something, and it really resonates within you, here you go. That is the power in the word. So the written word is also absolutely a powerful force, in our lives. Definitely.
Podcaster Norma Ellis, would like to thank you today for joining us on the show. Thank you. I know that we could have listened to you all night today. We could
Thank
have listened to
you.
you
Thank you
all
so
day.
much for
Thank
inviting
you
me
so
on your
much for
show.
sharing with your presence today. And until next time, we're going to
Thank
say
you.
bye for now. Oliver Wendell said, the most foolish kind of a book is a kind of a leaky boat on the seas of wisdom. Some of the wisdom will get in anyhow. Another quotation for us to ponder upon today. On the second segment of tonight's show, I'd like to now welcome Roman Samson from Air Atlantic TV.
Hi
Roman,
there, how's
welcome.
things? How are you doing it?
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you very much for having me on. How are you doing?
I'm
Enjoying the
really good,
shows?
thank you. And it's glad to have you on the show. You're always supporting us in the backstage, but today we'd like you to share with us something that is passionate to you, music.
Absolutely.
So you've been through some rough roads, some crooked paths, some
Absolutely.
dodgy, some dodgy lanes. It's good to have a testimony. Some
Absolutely.
dodgy lanes. And how has music uh, made a big impact in your life?
Music is well. First of all, I'm a music producer and a singer, and music has physically had a massive impact in my life from a standpoint of making money. You know, it was a route that I was able to make money from a young age. I travelled with a Christian evangelist, and then I was taken on by a Christian record label for a season, and playing churches and things like that, a few festivals. Um, and then I've also been in a secular aspect. So physically, it's actually changed my life, but also spiritually and mentally, it more or less dictates my life. I love worship. I've been honoured to be a worship leader in a few different churches, you know, and for me, it's an expression towards God. Now, it's not all of worship. Music is a small part of what worship is, because, as you know, living our day from day-to-day lives, you know, through those crooked roads, and through the trials and the tribulations, where he does not leave us or forsake us, and acting out within character, which is something that I've been in training for, you know, and learning to act in character, and just being who I am is also worship to God. But music has had a great impact in my life from all 7 ways since Sunday, and without music, there is not much else to me, you know, because it is a culture to me. What Norma was saying there about the influence that music can bring, it definitely as a culture to me, and I agree with everything that Norma was very informative there, you know, and explaining about music.
So, Roman, as a musician, what is the main point that you see in making music?
The main point of making music for me, now it differs, it has many branches on the tree of music, but for me, it's an expression of letting somebody else know um, what you've been through for sake of identification, and on a whole, to better somebody else, and maybe to encourage, whether that be encouragement or inspiration. The words, the lyrics for music and music, when they're joined in that beautiful matrimonial moment together, and it just works. Many songs that I've heard, and some of the songs that I've written, we don't always get it right, have been a complete moment of almost like an outer body experience. You within that minute when you're singing or producing or listening to that other persona of music and spirit of music, as I would call, it can completely obliterate what any negative for that moment. It can completely, it can incur bitterness, love, joy, peace. We've heard this from Norma. But most importantly, I make music to let people know that there is hope, because identification in music is something. Sometimes speakers can't reach you. Sometimes advice from friends can't reach you. We as humans almost want to implode within our feelings. And when we get to that secret place and listen to that music to describe our emotion or to identify with our emotion, that's that kind of little secret space that you can get into in the human psyche and say, don't worry, pal, I've been there. Don't worry, sister, I've been there. And this is what happened, and this is what can happen. And sometimes that support that can come through music is second to none.
Fantastic. For our last question to you today, Roman, what advice would you give to others about the music that they listen to?
The music that others listen to, it would be something. Now, we can listen to music in different forms. I think if you're just doing the dishes, on a Sunday, not that I only do dishes on a Sunday, but if you're listening just in a casual way in the background, I've often thought that, it doesn't really matter what's on. Now, I'm a born again Christian. I'm not super religious. And by that, I don't mean that you pose everything that doesn't mention Jesus in a song. Now, I believe that God is in all things. I think he's sovereign. But I would advise people listening to music to really pay attention to the words that are being said, the mood of what's being said. There's a lot of kind of charty stuff just now. We're not going to get into monoprogramming, etc. It's a great word to look up, monoprogramming, online on Google. And you will see these people almost try and sell their souls in a way, metaphorically speaking, and to allowing some sort of extra presence to come on that song to deteriorate society. I mean, this is definitely going on. It's not a conspiracy. There is many artists that will stand by that. And I'm not just talking about Kanye West for the sake of due diligence. There is a whole list of them. The list is quite frightening, to be honest, as the roles of it goes at the top tiers. I would say that when you're listening to music, make sure that it's upbuilding. If you have children, a lot of the songs these days are high. I mean, I have a 6-year-old daughter who watches MTV and they copy Little Mix. Little Mix, I am not speaking against you. They make money in any which way they can. And it's the way that the industry is and always has been. It's just that we now have music video and we can see what happens in other people's lives and how they project themselves. It represents a whole culture. Music is a culture. It has many different cultures within it. But I would recommend that you be careful if you have children what you listen to. The sexual content sometimes, it's not, I listen to rap. I'm eclectic, which means I like all sorts of music that's good, or what I perceive to be good and connect to. And a lot of the rap songs, we can see a culture destroy as you start hearing things because you're like, Norma was saying, it definitely sends constant memories, constant messages to you, telling you what to do, how to handle a situation. I've found myself quoting lyrics in a love song when I've told my wife I love her, So you can see that it's highly influential. I'm not going to run over the 2 minutes.
Roman Samson from Atlantic TV. You're doing an amazing job with your wife, Gina. And congratulations and well done to you guys and what you're doing. I know that we all would be looking forward to seeing more from Atlantic TV. And if you're out there and you have some absolutely amazing material and you'd like it to be on Atlantic TV, Roman Samson is the man to be in touch with. We'd like to thank you, all our viewers that have just joined us, and those that had Roman Samson share some advice and his wisdom as a music writer, producer, and music everything.
Thank you, Minette.
Thank you,
God, I'm
thank
really
you
loving
very
the
much,
show. You're
and
doing
we'll speak
amazing.
soon.
And
Thank you.
yeah.
On watching a series which was completely out of my comfort zone because of its name, I watched a series called Lucifer. It started off by being by mistake, and then afterwards I was intrigued to find out what would happen next. There are some things that I learned from watching that show. Number one, I was surprised in what I positively absorbed from it. And there goes my thoughts that there are two sides to a coin. You can watch something and not take it in, but subconsciously take it in. You can watch a movie, you can watch a series, you can read a book, or you can listen to music, and sometimes it will change your mood. Further on in watching Lucifer, number two, I saw that there were illustrations on how everyone has both good and bad in them. I guess a confirmation that no one is fully good or fully bad, whichever the case may be. Number three, personally, the series identified that whether we like it or not, we're all vulnerable to something or someone. Number four, another message I received was that true love can make you change. True love does definitely conquer all. The fifth thing that I learned from watching that series was that, and I took away from it, was that sometimes when someone's telling the truth, there are people that just won't believe them because they've made their own assumptions about the person, prejudge them maybe, and are just not listening to the truth, even though it is staring them in the face, and at some point and at some time to their detriment. Number six, in watching that series, I was reminded that some individuals love to play the victim, the mentality of blaming others. It's not me, it's this, it's that, it's him, it's her. Not taking acknowledgement of their own wrongdoing, especially with the thought and the knowledge of knowing that we all have a free will and that we each have the right to make choices. That concerns us. Another evident message in that show was how people are held in bondage because of their guilt. It kind of made me think that if you don't change your ways or forgive or release that negative thought, they become your downfall. The importance of letting go echoes in my mind on this one. Number eight, and my final analysis when I watched that series, the grand finale for me, is that we have to be mindful of our heart's truest desires, choosing them wisely. As a man thinketh, so is he. To conclude this evening, let's look at some research results and see what they say. Movies can affect society in both positive and negative ways. And that watching movies encourages emotional release. Even those who often have trouble expressing their emotions are said to find themselves laughing or crying during a film. Music is said to enhance the mood. While all books affect readers in different ways, it is reported that history has shown that books have a way of reaching and impacting to large groups of people so that they're forever changed. These books can share knowledge, they can share inspiration, discoveries in various fields. They teach, they influence, and they alter the way we think. I hope you've enjoyed today and you enjoyed the show. I'd like to thank all the people that have been commenting, all the people that have shared today's program, all the people that have sent messages saying hello, 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 hello. I see you. I see you live. I see you there. And I appreciate your attendance and joining us today. I'd like to thank our background media crew, my very own son, King Darren Robinson from We Fix It Media, Roman and Gina Samson from Air Atlantic TV. I would like to thank Merciful Grace Promotions. Thank you so much for continuously sharing, liking, and promoting this show. I'd also like to thank my very good friend Mark Jones. I know after every program he's done so many shares, and I'm grateful for it. A big thank you to everyone that has shared, liked, and commented. Prince Jordan and Princess Kelsey that are in the background and forever supporting. Thank you for your support. If you joined halfway, three-quarters way, please go back to the beginning and watch it after the show finishes. Or you can also find it on YouTube to share with family and friends. And remember, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is in sharing. It is in communication, and it is in listening to various viewpoints. Take what strengthens you. Use what empowers you. This is exactly how we all continue to grow. Thank you for your time today once again. Thank you, and I look forward to welcoming you next week, Wednesday, the 2nd of December at 8 p.m. when we explore meditation and affirmations. Before I go this evening, I would like to remember those that are in isolation, those that are not feeling well, those that feel left out, those that are in despair, those that are brokenhearted, those that are sad at this moment. May you find this program to have taken you away from everything else and given you 30 minutes of listening to something different. I hope you're encouraged, and I hope you're motivated, and I hope you're inspired. If you'd like to be on this show, if there's anything you'd like to add, please inbox me, text me, email me. I'll be glad to welcome you. This program is brought to you on behalf of DB's 8 Step Up Project. It's sponsored by HM Government in partnership with the National Lottery Community Fund. Please stay blessed. See you next week.